8:30. What do you got for us? Exciting news.
Yep.
We have to get voter approval before we change any budgets from now on.
Oh, another election.
Yeah, I need it. I like having all the elections for everything.
How are you gonna pay for all this stuff?
Ballot will be 17 pages long.
Take 2 days to vote.
Biggest increase I got for 2016 is I need to replace the tires on my loader. Or they will need replaced. They're starting to, well, I've got the tread down pretty good on them. They're starting to open, get some, show some cracks. And with the large amount of roofing that's going on right now, pretty much the usage is every day of what it is. By next year, I'll definitely need to replace them.
That four?
Yeah.
4 tires?
Yeah. Last time I done that was in 2008, so we got about 70 altogether. By the time we get that, close to 8 years of use on it. The price has gone up quite a bit in 7 years. 2008 tires cost me $760 a piece, and now they're below $100. The amount of foam, it takes 1,070 pounds of foam per tire.
So they're solid?
Fills, yeah. It's about the only way you can go is foam fill or get a track loader or something. Of course, you can't get on your all with a rotary area, but you track loader, so.
Real variety.
The, you know, I go with the cheapest tire I can get, which is the bias. Radials are $1,400 a piece, but you lose any ride when you foam fill them, so I'm wasting money on radials. And Park City is about the only place in the state that does that. It's used in tires. The last time we done it, we ended up pulling the wheels off and taking them on the trailer. First time we done it with the old loader, it hauled up very fine, but when they loaded it up, all the extra busted every loader on the trailer.
Okay.
And that's
That all I got. Basically, the only difference is your transfer. Right. Very good.
Yep. Jimmy up the car you
What's the least amount you can operate on? I mean, bare bones least amount. This budget season ain't gonna be no fun. I imagine we'll have several meetings, group meetings to figure out
Ways of cutting.
ways we're gonna have to figure something. I mean, $10 million is $10 million.
That's a lot. You gotta give it. It's pretty great for you to receive.
People on the paying end don't like
Hey,
it.
well, then we don't know what to think it's going to do either. Hey,
From day to day.
That's the crazy part.
they ought to feel real proud.
How's the deal with the trash services in the county going? I mean, is that working okay, or is it a nightmare?
Well,
Are they
you know,
paying us on the tonnage fees?
About a month behind.
So they're 60 days behind, or just 30?
Sure.
Okay.
Since it's been there usually about a month behind. Now, I supplied him some dumpsters to catch the overflow of Stafford. And he's called him up twice and he's failed to provide that. But I have noticed, I've had 3 or 4 calls from citizens over Stafford on directions to the recycle building and what they use. For sure. And I have noticed quite a bit of increase in recycling campaigns.
So you're not, are you still using your trailers?
Yeah, I see the.
How's that affected?
Well, the Stafford, Maxfield's,
Or they use the Nisleys?
they're using Nisley.
Right, but I mean, has that affected your recycle stuff over there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I only have a trailer.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Yeah, see, originally I was gonna pull that trailer, or I did pull it, and they, city called over there, Julie said that, they went back, so they had rural people.
Mhm.
So I took it back over there and, over there and dumped it one day, and Nisley was coming through the alley, dumping their recyclables. And he said, how come you still got that trailer over there? I said, street. And I said, well, some teaching staff and stuff from the rural community, they want to be able to bring their recyclables. And he said, well, you don't need to be hauling that over. There's special for bids out here, like one for the people.
Oh.
I said, well, that'd be great. So we went over and checked the Julie, make sure it was all right.
Yeah.
Provides a pretty good service. Very
Good.
happy with it.
I
Even
don't
during
think
cleanup
that's-
week, they provided dumpsters and everything for TVs and stuff. And they used it.
I know that's what, I've just asked them several times over there, how they're getting along with that. They seem to be pretty happy with it. I didn't know what your feelings were, how it was going, or what you felt, or if you liked it or didn't like it, or you had too much free time on your hands, or?
No. They've, Pratt's changed on their glass. Used to, they would send, Gaylord box full of glass on, and where they got rid of it, they no longer want it, so they got rid of 40 yard. They claim that what they do is they raise one of their boxes up and shove it off in there, and somebody's gonna climb in there and fish the box and paddle it back out. I wanna know if I can use those green bins to send them over so they can dump it. So, one of the trailers I pulled by it, and it's the bins off here, so Johnson put it. The other trailer, one from Stafford, I use it, I go out somewhere, I take it. Pretty cool stuff.
Prices kind of that way. Very good.
But, it would be nice if the cities do the same stream, and it's just the way we do it, because it's just a constant battle. So, and with more use, I think there's a lot of people in Stafford, and it's great coming over and using the recycle, but more people use it, bigger than this, you get cookie. Just gotta think, when you get in there,
Sure,
you get a score. All right, well, that's all I got.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Like I said.
Doris wanted me to clarify
Bottom
something
of
last
the
week.
Oh,
She was talking about her extra dollars from that, the public health grant. She meant to say if you apply towards the generator, not the permit or something.
rural.
Because you can apply it towards equipment, and she didn't think they considered tornado shelter. So she wanted me to clarify to you guys that it would be.
Construction equipment. Just got through it on this stupid house.
Thank you very much for
You're
your.
very welcome.
Because of that
That's
really
super
thing, the
expensive.
shelter would be changing the batteries.
I move that we approve the minutes from the May 27th.
What else were?
Motion and second, approving minutes of May 22nd.
27.
27. 27?
Yeah.
May 27th, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
But then we have to check and make sure that the people
Yeah, we do.
Somebody else was trying to send some stuff.
Year round. I move that we approve the tax roll corrections.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the tax roll corrections, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Looks like they just got sent to the wrong person. First.
That's this time of year.
Sister didn't, she got paid for
They're not getting
it. Oh, really?
I didn't see one city saying, hey, you guys charges.
By the way, I plugged up my filters on the planter too.
On the planner? Your plan?
I'm planting my
Oh.
own. I plugged up both inline filters so that stuff can start salting.
Yeah.
Why is there specials too,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
oh, and I thought there'd been anything in
Yeah,
there.
right, a lot of people.
I guess we can recess.
Lisa?
Oh,
Yes,
have
do
to
you want me to go ahead? Well, we got a
5
guy
minutes.
coming in 5 minutes.
Shouldn't take too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you guys, do you have that resolution? Okay. You know, I transfer money every year out of my motor vehicle in the county general. Well, I did my transfer, and I have been keeping a reserve in there. Do you remember when I was gonna do my office remodel? And I was-
Yeah.
Okay, the auditors want me to go ahead and roll that over into county general, and then do a resolution, and then put that into that new capital outlay or reserve fund that we have established. So I'm asking permission to, I had $60,000 reserve in there, but I don't want to transfer that much. I only want to transfer about $30,000 because I'm not real aggressive on that office remodel anymore, so.
so it's just your office capital outlay?
For my department. And it's what Melissa said with Adams Brown, just, she said, figure up, you know, like if you got a copy machine repair and some equipment in the next 5 years, go ahead and just put a lump sum in there, and then, since you had 60,000 built up, if you don't want to use all that. So I'm asking permission to approve a resolution just to transfer 30,000. And my transfer, you guys want to know what it was?
Wow.
That'll make the budget a lot easier.
It's not $10 million still.
I know, it's not. It was well, that's what that 60,000 that
Right,
was
in
in
there.
there, so it was 192,000. But if you would subtract out that 60,000 that's been in reserve, it's really about 130. So we had a
What do you
good year
think-
last year.
What do you think that, I mean, do you think that number will increase, or do you think that number will stay about the same?
I
for-
ran some reports and compared, oh, by the way, last year my transfer was only $37,000. So, just so you know the history on that. I'm about, I think about $10,000 behind what I was last year at this time. And I credit that to maybe still change over and help, you know, training and not being able to handle as much business. And then also I attribute it to Reno County started doing commercial vehicles. Remember last year I had a lot of Reno County come in because they were not doing commercial vehicles. So I think a lot of that businesses went back to Reno County. So I don't think there'll be as much. But what, yeah, I don't know. We are behind this year compared to last year.
Is there any money in this capital outlay fund now, or not?
In my department, 5,000 is all. I transferred that last year. And then the end of the year, I won't transfer any.
So this is a one-time, this resolution is just a one-time transfer?
Yeah. And that should get me built up for quite a few years, really.
I move that we approve resolution 2015-7.
Second it?
Motion and a second to approve resolution 2015-7. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carried.
And then, did you guys, were you aware of, they got that? Okay.
Immediately.
I'll make sure you were aware of that.
Couldn't do anything about it till we got it.
So the phones didn't work.
I got it, oh, it's on the tractor.
Yeah.
Couldn't do a thing about it. Got a landline about 9:30. Yeah, I wasn't gonna call him at 9:30. I figured it was a done deal one way or the other. They voted on it yesterday, and it was. I looked in the journal, it passed.
This did?
The amendment by LaTurner, if that's actually what was in it, passed 29-9 last night in the Senate. It was not.
I think you're gonna see some pretty shady stuff happening.
I still wonder, I mean, that got no
discussion. at all.
discussion, and
Where does this stuff come from, just all of a sudden?
this guy was thinking about it, because he had to have all that drawn up by the people that write up those bills and write up the amendments. He'd probably been thinking about doing it. My guess is he'd already talked to some other guys that he was gonna bring that. It probably wasn't a surprise to all of them. But if you don't know what's in there, you
Yeah.
shouldn't vote on that.
Right.
Well, they've gotten motor vehicle tax off of that amendment, off that bill 2106, I think it was. So that doesn't help. It was gonna reduce our motor vehicle taxes quite a bit.
Yeah.
So we did get that off.
Things are happening.
Just
On and
amazes
off.
me the stuff that makes logical sense, like the wind power deal and the low producing oil well deal that was, I mean, that would generate a lot of revenue for the state, maybe.
It will, it might not this year, but it will in time.
Yeah, in time it
Yeah.
will. Yeah, I mean, once the price comes back.
Yeah.
Is it Rooks County that's dependent all mainly on oil? Is it Rooks?
Bricks and Logan, I think. Logan got some fun on that too.
Anyway, they were saying, wherever this county was, property taxes are high and stuff. There's a vacant shop code, and the rent on it is so high that no one will even.
And the
The
property
Smith
taxes
Center
are
was
so high on it.
Smith County has.
Is it Smith County? Oh, they got, yeah,
Yeah.
their mill levy's like 200. Next year it'll be like 300 or 400. It's
Yes.
crazy in Smith County.
They lost their biggest employer this year.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Who was that?
It was an outfit that made, travel trailers, big
Oh, yeah.
snowbirds would use. I think they laid off like 120 people. They basically moved the operation elsewhere, what they did.
I guess we can recess while we're waiting. Get better at looking down the hallway.
Yeah, Kurt, that's your.
He was around the corner.
Let's move that.
I didn't see
Or
him.
put up signs or something.
Well,
He
we'll
set
make
up a
it.
mirror.
Take a number.
Yeah.
Take a number. We can do that, stick our heads in yellow. This year, to kind of go over what we did for 2014 for the county, for you folks. There's our septic systems. We actually had 17 that we installed in Stafford County. We had 48 water wells that we put through. Water test was 56. The difference between that 48 and that 56 are more like lender evaluations and daycares and things like that. And then, of course, you have your lender evaluations in there. We had 5 homes sold that required us to come out and do septic inspections, things like that. So, budgeting wise, we're just asking for the same that we have. We're not going up anymore, or trying not to. We're still looking at bringing on one more county. We've got some nibbles on that. If we can get that one county to come aboard, that number will drop on there. So we meet with them actually next week. So everybody else is kind of pushing for time. So that's one of the reasons I kind of held off on coming down, and we're trying to see if we can get them aboard, and if we can, then your number, or asking amount, or contribution to the folks will drop.
Now remind me again what counties we had now.
We have,
Oh,
well,
Is that right?
Oh, that's awful small print.
yeah, I don't have it on mine, but yes, it's on there. We have
Bonnie,
Stafford,
Edwards, Ness.
Ness, Rush,
Russell,
Russell, and
Stafford.
Edward, and then Stafford. So, what we're trying to do now is we've actually been visiting with Barton County to bring that back to work. So it's not a secret anymore, it's just a matter of waiting to see if we can get them to do it. But that's where I'm at. Do you have any questions?
Make sure it's call Nita if you get Barton County on board.
Yeah, no, we will. As soon as we hear a word from them, we'll let you folks know one way or the other.
Okay.
If we get that to drop, then we'll help everybody out.
They're close.
They fit.
I mean, that
Well,
big.
and we spend a lot of time going through their county, to get to some of our other counties to do this. So they actually approached us last year on this, and so we put a proposal together and sent it to them, and they're looking at it. So we'll meet with them next week. A couple of the board members and I are going down to visit with them, so hopefully we can get it to sign, seal, and deliver. So, all righty.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Is the hospital out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're the ones that sent it in. If he was sitting, must have been sitting down there.
We need to get some chairs to put
Yeah.
out there again. I don't know what's happened to those.
Morning.
Probably hard to dust.
Yeah. Good.
Good.
You? Good. So far, so good.
Jump right in with the stats for April. We had 6 acute admissions, giving us 17 acute census days, and the average length of stay is 66. Skilled swing index for 3, giving us 18 skilled swing census days and 99 skilled intermediate census days. PT patients were 42 with 168 treatments and evals. We had 6 occupational therapy patients with 11 treatments and evals. 1 speech therapy patient with 1 treatment eval. Total radiology was up to 95. It's 16 CT exams, 13 ultrasounds, 21 EKG, 10 mammo, no bone density, and 4 MRI. Our total lab testing was 2,513. We had 49 ER patients, with 8 of them being admitted and 6 of them being transferred. Home health was up slightly with 24 patients with 179 visits. We had 209 outpatient other and 22 clinic specialties. The balance sheet ending April 30th. Our total current assets were $753,089. Our net property, plant, and equipment was $290,942. Giving us total assets of $1,044,031. Our total current liabilities were $584,437. Total long-term liabilities, $37,738, and total fund balance of $421,856. Statement. Our total gross revenues were $215,722, which is down about $23,000 from prior month. Our total revenue deductions were negative $62,914, giving us net revenue after deductions of $278,636, for a total net revenue of $326,651, which is down less than $5,000 from prior month. Our total operating expenses were $320,907, which is up a little over $6,000 from prior month. There's a net operating income of $5,744, and a net income for the month of $7,239. Year to date, We have a net loss of 8,939, just slowly decreasing. Have a couple positive months.
What would be your non-operating revenues?
Our SHIP grants that we get, and then any memorials and savings.
Okay. I've probably asked that before.
I don't think so. Our wages were up slightly in several departments, and contract labor was up slightly in radiology and the accounting department due for the cost report. And then legal and auditing was up for the audit. And maintenance was up slightly.
Man, that's pretty good. That's high.
But,
Your maintenance.
yeah,
Everything broke.
well, everything
There were 2
broke.
or 3 weeks there that everything.
That was due to some invoice issues with our CPG Healthcare's.
We had 3 weeks.
I'll say you go from $538 to $12,944.
Yeah, hopefully we've got that invoice issue.
Yeah,
Thanks.
lined out.
Yeah,
How long have you been working on it?
since October
Oh,
last
wow.
year.
Oh, wow.
Not her fault.
Yeah.
People from different countries that are fun to deal with on the phone. So, I think we're going in the right direction. Hopefully next month, our year-to-date will be positive.
Amazing, we got more admissions in nice weather than we did in bad weather.
Yeah.
We talk about it too much. We just can't talk too much about it.
The accounts receivable graph. 32% of our payer mix is Medicare, and 34% private pay, 7 Blue Cross, 6 Medicaid, and 21 commercial. 49% of our accounts receivable is in the 0 to 30-day range. About almost half of them. Only 23% is in the 180 plus. So working on doing all those in depth and moving in that direction there too. Gross revenue analysis. 73% of our current gross revenue is from Medicare. 5% is private pay, 8 commercial, 11 Blue Cross, and 3 Medicaid. Private pays went down some from prior year. Medicare's went slightly. Kind of the opposite of the accounts receivable. The ratios graph. Our operating margin is down from prior month and up from prior year. Our total margin, return on equity, and return on total assets are all down from prior month and also up from prior year. Our capital expense is the same as last month and up from prior year. Our current ratio is up from prior month and down slightly from prior year. Our days cash on hand is up from prior month and down from prior year. The age of plant is down from prior month and up from prior year. Days in AR is up a little from prior month, which our goal is to be decreasing, and then it's down from prior year, which is good. The percentage of AR over 90 days is, it's higher from prior month, which is bad, and then lower than prior year, which is good. It's still under our goal. And the percentage of AR under 30 days is down from prior months, still above our goal, and then it's up from prior year.
So we've had 2 good months in a row.
Mhm.
Now, will the health fair, it'll obviously reflect on your lab.
In May, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had positive 19,000 in March and then a positive 7,000 in April. Healthcare will be in May, and we're anticipating another good month.
Next month, we're meeting with company, telemedicine company. We've met with others, and everybody wants a lot of money up front and what they pay us. And this company approached me a few months ago and wanted listed with them. That's not what they're about. They're the doctors that make up the company have either grew up in a rural Kansas or work in a small hospital, and so there's no, they give you the equipment, there's no monthly fees, it's too good to be true. So this sounds like, but we'll meet with them next month. We are working on a facility conservation improvement program with the state, where they come in and do an energy audit on our building and look at the utilities for several years past. And then hopefully can find you savings so that you can, get a new boiler and air conditioner, you can justify the purchase and pay for it. So they're thinking through the savings you're going to get or how many years you pay off for it. So I'm kind of curious to see how that turns out. Might be some savings, additional savings with what you might get. I think our air conditioner and heater are fine, and we don't want that old, but we have some old lighting and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what that can look like. Yes, we're having nursing students intern with us this year from Hayes. And it's going to be mostly job shadowing. She'll be only Brett Mercer, the personal nursing department. She'll be staying across the street at the hospital building over there. We have an apartment in home health that we built several years ago for
On call.
all people to stay. We're getting busy summer.
Well, so on this telecommunication thing, that's going to be all specialties?
The
I mean,
telemedicine,
yeah, the telemedicine,
they,
like cardiology, urology, it's not like the one that on the burn, yeah, wound care.
no, it's not wound care. It's, I think the one that didn't have it was dermatology. They will even cover your ER. That's not what we're
Right,
interested in. We're
right.
interested in the clinics. So, I can't remember if there was, I think the derm was all they were like. So, that'd be interesting too. He's gonna come meet with the board and that's what we're working on, so.
Good.
Anything else you guys can think of?
No.
Get out of here.
Everybody's still talking about the results from the health fair. Communities, I've heard the buzz.
Results.
Oh, comparing results or how they come to
Well,
the.
mine was high.
Yeah.
What was your cholesterol?
It's kind of a comical discussion, I guess.
I think it's bragging rights.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Well, it's the best results.
Yeah.
Well, I really think the health fair is a good promotion for the hospital,
I
really.
do too.
I mean, if you stress the, the outpatients and the services that are provided, that maybe it gets the word out to someone else who didn't know
Right.
that they could get their blood drawn at the hospital rather than,
Yeah, And we did have some trifold brochures that we
Yeah.
handed out during that listed all of the services.
Yeah.
It's always amazing to me how many people don't know. And I've been there 12 years now, and you still have conversations with people, oh, I didn't know you guys did that. And it's just, we always have to be.
Then you got that approval for infusion, what was it? Phlebotomist, yeah, the bloodletting. But you got the,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have one guy that comes regularly for, I can't think what you call it. Something for
Pretend like I know.
That's why I don't live on the floor.
Vampire, whatever it is.
Well,
Okay.
It's an all day or half a day ordeal to do it. Which means time off work and we can do it a couple hours.
And I do therapies, I do
Yeah,
therapies.
it's more like that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're up, man. Rock and roll right on time. Actually, a minute early. Agenda, but she schedules things pretty thoroughly.
Oh, watch out.
Lisa.
I'm just waiting for the bomb to drop. Never goes like it should.
Her deputy must do that.
This is on the high-risk rural roads application that we,
Do the same.
well, no, one's for minor and one's for local,
Oh,
or major, I can't remember. But they're just, they're from Cleveland Township up and all the way over, except for Putnam over here. So it's about a third of the townships. But the high-risk rural roads is one, two, where they're doing a 3-year program, so this will be, if we get anything, within the next 3 years. And that's why there's two.
it's a pretty big district.
Well, yeah. Is that encompass
Mostly
most
mine.
of yours?
Yeah.
Well,
Shane can deal with it.
do I need to call Kirkland and Michelson for you?
Tell me you need more money than that.
Well, I think he figured about 100 and to do that, I think what he's proposing here, or estimate here is 131,000. And then the inspection
Just keep looking while
engineering.
you're on. Good engineering,
Shane will pay for that.
especially north of Radium.
Take a foot out of it.
He was sitting up there the other day.
When did it change the signs?
That must be his favorite spot.
Just waiting for somebody else to come back through.
Stakes broke.
Yeah.
I had to laugh when I saw him sitting up there.
He didn't stop and chit chat with me.
No, I thought about it. Hey, he's not coming by today.
He's
I
like
hope he
281.
I hope he doesn't run on rims too much because I've been being the same.
Yeah. We just need to change it. We gotta forget the engineering study. Sometimes you have to assume some risk.
So this is a mile south of the Hudson Road.
Yes, it goes from 90th Street all the way north to 210. And then it has Cleveland Township out straight west of town.
There's that real nice bridge is right there.
Nice bridge.
Or is it, no, it may be a little, well, it's a nice concrete bridge. It goes over the Rattlesnake. Is that 2 miles? Or 1 mile east of the Hudson, or the Stafford Elmwood Road?
Yeah, there's several bridges going across the
It's
road.
concrete.
There's one with concrete deck, and there's several
Yeah.
with concrete decks. That's the way they did them in the 60s and early 70s. Use I-beams with concrete deck. Guy in the food bar, he tells me, driving a vehicle across it before they poured They used to spend their winters in their bin and rebar for their cement boxes and for that. But that ID was teepee because it had flat flange on the bottom and it came up and then it had rods sticking off of the deal where they tied all the rebar to. And they set the flames underneath concrete and take all the flames off and let it there for so long. Open it up. If anybody asks me to start going this week, so.
I saw that.
Yeah, you got to sign on, and there's a place for the chairman and both members over there. It's on both
Do I have to
floors.
do a motion for that, or enter agreement as an agreement, or what is it? Or just a?
It's for the applicant, the highway scroll roads application.
So
Project.
together or separate? Or we just make a motion, we enter an agreement with KDOT for an application for high-risk road maintenance, is that what it's called?
We're applying for a highway scroll roads funding grant.
Whatever you said. We're applying for an application for high-risk road improvement.
There you go. Second. Motion and second. To apply for high-risk rural roads grants, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Making our motions extremely difficult.
Sometimes they have to be that way. I did talk to the guy at Purple Wave, and
Yeah.
he said, to us, there's no cost,
Oh.
because we piggyback right off of the state deal, so there is no cost on our end. You can also reserve, you can also reserve on.
Can't?
No.
No minimum reserve.
What he does, he'll come out, he'll view the equipment, and he'll decide, decide the best, he's done this for a while, so he says, I gotta get it right. Where's the best option to put this piece of equipment in. So, and he says usually they go for about 4 to 5 weeks.
What do you think about possibly maintaining the roads in the city of Seward? When we zip up through there?
I have to look and see.
You might go look and talk to the
Give me
mayor.
a time as to
Yeah.
Fred.
Yeah.
See if we can
No, no.
You might go talk to them, or, see what it would take. He said it takes, they're paying 2 hours, or they'll let a guy come over and chase for 2 hours or something, and that's not, they're just not getting a good job or service or something.
More up over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of issues there.
Yeah. So you might look at that.
gonna see the BKD audit.
Are you doing that for him? I
He did, he's not. Really, why don't they township do
But yeah, I don't.
that? But yeah, I'll look at
That's right, I'm only doing that one township, so.
it.
It's only
We're
gonna
struggling to
it's only gonna-
try to get it done right now just because
Well,
everything's
just
so wet.
Yeah, everything else going on.
It gets dry in some places and mud holes in others.
Well, one day, one of them did go out and did try to bring some of the levels, especially where there were places where you could. But I mean,
There's one road that's got more mud holes than it's got road.
yeah.
I went through it and planted it yesterday. That was just like, I about got seasick driving through it. But there's not much you can do there.
No, I mean, until it dries out, like I told you, as soon as these metals dry, let's start pulling some in them, so. I said, there's nothing that irritates me more than drive-through water. That you should not have to do that, unless it's just, you know, you've had a lot of work. But, you know, 2 or 3 days later, you should not be driving through water. That's just, it's hard, it's
Sounds
hard.
good to me.
It's hard on brakes, it's hard on equipment, it's just, it's not good on anything, especially in that sand.
Yeah.
You know, even if the center just breaks pretty quick.
People want any more, they see water in the road, they just drive out in your field.
Yeah, that's becoming a bad habit of people. I mean,
It's 10 times worse than it used
and if
to
there was a ditch, I mean, if there was some sort of semblance of a ditch there, they wouldn't do that.
be. Yeah.
I
And then
mean,
they get stuck out in your field and have to get pulled out in your field. And I have seen the biggest messes I've ever seen.
yeah, and that's just a total lack of respect on people's part.
I'd like to catch the first one. Not the 100th one.
Yeah, the one that starts it, because, yeah, they're just like cattle.
Very good.
All right, well, thank you. You got yours? You signed yours?
We're ready for you.
Oh, okay, wow, great.
You're ready.
Sure, we're ready. We are ready. Very ready.
Can I have one, please?
Yeah, sure.
Giving us everything, you haven't withheld any information. There's no pending lawsuits or anything that you haven't told us about.
Nope. Open book.
Lisa.
You probably later this week or early next week about their lunches. There were only 2. One was the one with the reserve account that we had talked about already, and one was an AP.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, great job, really.
Two what?
I may not even have you booked the AP.
I would probably say this is
So we're still debating on what.
probably the
easiest
most,
way
I mean, the
to do
fastest
it.
audit we've had, probably,
I think so.
in and out, getting things turned around. I mean, back to you guys. Yeah, don't you think this is probably,
Did you cut your fees in half?
we still did the same amount of work. I knew that was coming.
I walked right into that.
I did.
Don't hurt to ask.
No, it doesn't hurt to ask. You probably know by now, though, the answer you're going to get. It's coffee, sure.
It's
Okay.
a laugh.
Yeah.
It's a laugh.
Breaks it a little bit.
Millions of copies, too, so we should. So, first of all, we would like to thank you for the opportunity to do the audit. As always, we appreciate coming down here. They answer all of our questions and put up with us. And like I said, this year was, I think, the fastest we've gotten information in and out and back. And we were able to do a lot of stuff before we came out, so the audit was more wrap up and clean up and questions that we had, especially with the officers.
Dina and Lisa both worked really hard on getting us information in
Yes.
advance, and that really helped out to prepare a little bit more.
Especially so
Take
we
less
get,
time to the department heads and things.
especially so we can get it delivered so soon as well, too. So, I'll let you start off, Melissa, here.
Well, my name's Melissa Illy. I don't think I have actually met you in person. I know I spoke with Shane on the phone a couple weeks ago. I've been with the firm since 2006 and worked on this audit since then as well. So, I just wanted to start out on page 1 of the report.
That's where our opinion letter starts. And you'll notice that our opinion letter goes 3 pages. It's very lengthy. So, and this is actually in the part that's bound.
Sorry,
Page,
yes, the bound.
page one of the.
Page one of the bound cover.
My copy's just not bound.
We'll go over the letters kind of a little bit towards the end.
And since it's very lengthy, the paragraph that you want to focus on is actually on page 2. And it's the 3rd paragraph down. It's the opinion on regulatory basis. Since you approved a gap waiver to approve this, approve the county to follow KMAC on following regulatory basis. And we just state that it is a clean opinion. We had no modifications, so we have a clean opinion, unmodified opinion going forward.
And just a reminder that we do that so we don't have to capitalize all the infrastructure and the roads and all the equipment and do depreciation on it. If we did a full gap audit, that's what it would entail. We would have depreciation and all kinds of things. We would have to go and get valuations on everything if you wanted to do a true gap audit. So that's why the state allows us to do regulatory basis. It's also kind of interesting because we've had so many accounting pronouncements lately with governmental accounting standards that actually a lot of the states are looking at what Kansas is doing with the regulatory basis that we're issuing, an example today. A lot of other states are looking at this to get out of some of that stuff. So they're looking at Kansas financials that we do with the gap waiver. So it's kind of interesting how things are coming around because for a while there they talked about getting rid of this. I know we had that discussion, the legislature this year, and other states are actually thinking about doing what we're doing. So, yeah, I know, that's kind of scary, don't you?
The only thing they're
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're trying to be like the state of Texas, so.
All right. If you look at page 4 and 5, that's actually the main statement that we issued following KMAC. That's going to give a summary of what your beginning unencumbered cash was, your receipts, expenditures, to get to your ending unencumbered cash. And then we also know the accounts payable to get to your true cash balance per fund. On page 5, it shows your actual cash, the totals for the operating funds of the county. Now, keep in mind these totals do not include any of the agency funds or distributable funds. You actually have more cash that you manage here within the county, and those are on the supplementary statements clear at the back. If you notice that your beginning unencumbered cash balance at the beginning of the year was $5,170,444, and your ending unencumbered was $6,237,444. That's actually an increase in unencumbered cash of $1,067,000. So it's a 21% increase in your cash. Now, the majority of that increase, though, is from 58% of it comes from the increase in the general fund and the increase in the oil and gas depletion trust fund. That total, I'm sorry, I didn't have that.
That's almost 400,000.
Yeah, it was almost 400,000. That's right. But just wanted to point out with you with the oil and gas depletion trust, that eventually increase in cash is going to come to a stop. I don't remember if you have 1 year more. Lisa may be able to answer that for me. For the distributions for that, those are only going to be coming for
3 or 4 more years.
Yeah, it's only a few more years.
Yeah,
that's going to slowly start
I'm not
to
sure.
down on you. It's going to taper
Yeah.
off on you. So you're not going to expect that increase in cash.
I think it's in 2016, the end of 2016.
That might be right. I was thinking it was
This
only
year.
1 or 2 more years.
I mean,
So,
lawsuits if they withhold it up at the state level.
but just wanted to point that out, just to not expect that much of an increase in the future because you're not going to have that unless you do a mill increase or increase in fees throughout the fee offices. All right, and then also, KSA 19271 authorized you, that was approved last year, authorized the counties to start using the funds within the oil and gas depletion trust. You can transfer that into your general fund or your reserve accounts for that statute. Just use caution with that because that is your reserve to cover you as your oil and gas goes down and you no longer have those funds coming in. All right.
And the balance of that right now is
The oil and gas you have, it's the very last one on page 5. It's $1,101,991.
1.1 million.
Okay, page 6 through 14 are the footnotes to the financial statements, going over the details of the policies that you follow, just details of what your cash balances are, that you were completely secure with the bank accounts, things like that. Really no changes per KMAG on what we were required to cite in the footnotes. I'll go over details on it if you guys have specific questions on areas. If not, I can plan on going over the details of it. Okay. I want to point out with the fiscal funding clauses on leases, register page
Page 40.
On page 40 is your register of deeds tax fund. And these are statements in the back, those are supplemental information to the one-page or two-page financial statement. It's just giving you the details of each fund. I want to point out on the register of deeds tax fund, you'll notice that your ending unencumbered cash dropped in that fund from $41,000 down to $2,900. The cause for that was because we had a lease that was entered into for a new scanner. That lease didn't contain what we call a fiscal funding clause, stating that you have the right to budget for that and pay it off over a period of time. So rather than citing you as not having that clause in there, we recorded that full amount because you had enough cash within that fund to cover the cost of that. So we've expensed that in the full year, in the current year. I do suggest that you look into maybe the interest rate you're paying on that lease and see if there's any penalties for paying it off early. And so since we had to record the full expense this year, it might be better off just to pay it off in full rather than paying the interest on it if you can avoid any penalties with that.
I know the interest rate's higher than what she's making in the
What
bank.
you're making on the bank,
The
correct.
interest rates are so low in the bank. But with the fiscal funding clause with regulatory basis accounting with our gap rate, we really didn't have a choice. We had to record it. We had to book the entire expense because it didn't have that clause in the lease agreement. So that's just something, we have a management letter comment on that as well, just to watch when we enter lease agreements. You know, all of those should be reviewed through the commissioners before anyone enters into. And I know this is the register of deeds fund, but it still affects the county.
And for the record, we did go back to that thing.
We tried, Nita tried.
Trying to get that clause
Added.
and
They wouldn't do it. They didn't understand it.
no, and they didn't.
They
I
don't deal with
I don't feel
county.
like they tried.
I don't
They just
think he
kinda-
did either with his
Because
English.
Yeah,
Melissa
I
contacted
even
them,
contacted
I
him
did.
directly and he was giving the
They were.
Yeah, they just didn't care.
Alright, I just want to point out there were two new funds added to the financial statements this year. The first one is on page 32. That is the equipment reserve fund. That was where you had authorized to make transfers from county general into this fund for future capital improvement, or excuse me, future equipment purchases for the funds that didn't, or for the departments that didn't already have a reserve fund in place, specifically for their department. And then on page 41, we have the new fund for the economic development housing grant that ran through the county. I just wanted to point out that we do have a separate financial statement present to track that activity as well. Any questions over the details of any of the specific funds?
We did go through on several of them with the neighborhood revitalization. One example is on page 42. The neighborhood revitalization, when we do the budget, it's kind of interesting because if the ad valorem, the taxes come in higher, we actually have more to distribute out or less, and that can cause a budget violation when we have to distribute those funds out based on that funding mechanism that we have. So, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but we had a budget workshop through the state, and they said that we can show that as negative revenue because they're having lots of issues with neighborhood revitalization causing budget violations. So that's why we have negative revenue on page 42. Typically, the neighborhood revitalization rebate on your budget is shown as expenditure. However, they said we could put that up there more or less as a reduction in ad valorem property tax. I don't necessarily agree with it because I think it looks odd, and then when we have questions You know, as the hospital did, I think several years ago, they wanted to know why they didn't get the full amount that we had levied for them on the budget because they didn't understand how the neighborhood revitalization program worked. That also came out of their mill levy. I think that is misleading. You know, this year we moved it up there just to avoid the budget violations, but we are going to look at that. I mean, 15 we may have some issues, but in 16 we'll definitely get the budget worked out, so hopefully that doesn't cause issues in the future for budget violations. They didn't really think about that when they put that program in place, how that could cause issues with that. We've had lots of libraries call us up asking us why they don't get their full mill levy that was levied, so it's caused some heartache.
So there are quite a few counties that have the,
Neighborhood revitalization,
Mhm.
there's a lot that have been enacted in the
Really?
last several years, yeah. Actually, there's cities that are doing it more and more. We've had several other cities add on in the last probably 2 years.
I would probably say the majority of them that I work with.
Now they do, like say, all our financials, you know, maybe not at the start, but yes. Yeah, it's a good
because I
program.
think, you know, 6, 7 years ago, I thought we were kind of unique county-wise of having this, because no one else did.
Right, you were one of the first ones that
Yeah.
did it, but I would say everyone else has pretty much jumped on the bandwagon too. Yeah, actually, we just had another, I think City of La Crosse just did theirs like 2 years ago. We've had a lot of them that have come in, just thinking of the areas we look at, especially like Ryan and stuff.
Well, it helps improve the community. that way.
Yeah.
Gives them incentives coming in.
Right.
Okay, well, if you don't have any specific questions that you want us to go over details within the financial statements, I'm going to move over to the 2 loose letters that were inside your packets. That'll work. I'll start first with the management letter, and it should be labeled in bold at the top or right below the heading. This one is going to present any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that we noted during the audit. This year, we do not have any material weaknesses to present. We only have significant deficiencies. And honestly, both of these are going to be out of your control topics. The first one is going to be dealing with journal entries on your accounting software. Currently, CIC, the software that you're using, does not have a separate module just for adjusting journal entries. You can enter them in several different ways within your system, so you can't run just a simple report to show all adjustments that are made within the system. So there's a little bit of a risk with that software for any override of controls. So we just have to note that we tested those transactions, but we have to rely on the information that's provided to us for it. It could be an incomplete list that we look at, so. The second one is dealing with segregation of duties, and honestly, that one's gonna be on your letter till the end of time, just because of the size of the county and the cost it would incur to bring on enough staff to have proper segregation between the areas, so. Any questions over those? Okay. The second letter is the governance letter, and these are basically just going to present our recommendations over the year. I want to first point out that the departments worked really hard, and we had a lot of them clean up. They took our recommendations into consideration. They applied them as we recommended, or they altered them to fit their department needs a little bit better. So I just want to thank the county departments for taking those into consideration and trying to improve their processes. We did split this out into 2 sections. You'll see that there's a section that lists prior year comments. Those are the ones that have repeated from prior years that still need some areas of improvement, or they just haven't had time to apply it. And then the second area is the current year comments. You'll notice we only have 1 recommendation from the current year, so that's a great situation. That means you're running very smoothly, and we don't have a lot of new things coming up in our audit procedures. And it's very minor on this, well, I shouldn't say minor, it's a very easy process to implement. I believe Lisa's already done it. It's dealing with the supervision of the bank reconciliations. I believe currently LaDonna, right, yes. She performs the bank reconciliations and Lisa reviews them. We would just like for her to sign off on the bottom stating that she actually reviewed them, so we have documentation of that process, so. And then the other ones in the prior year.
No, it's just the okey-dokey stand.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
We
Well-
like those as auditors, though.
Yeah, and if you've heard of any fraud cases, it's because somebody was doing the bank rec. They got the bank rec first, they did the bank rec, they adjusted what they wanted, the person looked at it. They weren't actually verifying the source documentation, and they had all kinds of checks running through that weren't really who they said they were out to, so. Yeah, those bank recs can kind of get.
All right. Within the prior year ones, I'll just kind of start at the top. The first one is just our, and you've heard this from us for several years, we just recommend that it's a set policy that annual evaluations are done for county employees. Just for the, it not only protects the employees, it protects the county as well, because it documents whether they're doing a good job, it helps document whether they're qualified for receiving raises, and if there's issues, it helps document those problems too, so that if it goes down that road and termination becomes in the picture, you have proper documentation in your files that way. So it protects on both sides, so just a general recommendation. The second one listed there, I don't necessarily agree with it. It is still a Kansas statute, so we have to cite it. Nita definitely does not agree with it, and we're fine with it. We're just going to continue to note it until we go forward.
Did you try to get that fixed yesterday? And I
And
was
they're
told
not
that
gonna-
it was not a, we tried to get the statute changed, and I was told by the Eastern County clerk that that was not a big deal, because they did not sell for some game rights.
Oh, well.
So they weren't going to pursue it. So that's why.
And so how many do you sell a day?
A day?
Oh, gosh.
Put it this way, for the
You wanna do a
year,
month,
I think
maybe?
it was roughly
Let's do it by
$1,000 she
quarter.
turned over
Yeah.
for the annual year's activity.
Yeah.
And it's
Or if
it's
they
not
go
a
in
situation that there's cash sitting around, because she has a separate bank account that this activity is monitored in. She just doesn't write a check every day to give it to Lisa and deposit in the general account over in the treasurer's office, so.
It used to be a big deal. I mean, they used to have more money traveling through there before you got the local stores that would do it, or
Yes,
convenience
Dylan's
stores.
doesn't.
Yeah, Dylan, Walmart, convenience, everything, so.
On your first one, was there any difference between this year and last year on any employee evaluations being in the file? or
We
anything?
actually started doing
Yeah.
that when they come in for raises.
And it could be that
Or step
we only
increases.
pull a very
Right.
few select ones on
Yeah,
that,
the
and
ones
it
we
could
pulled
be
didn't
that the
have
ones we pulled didn't have those in there. So if that's the case,
Are
I
you doing
was,
an across the board policy?
Not
or-
everybody is doing
I
it.
say
Well,
neither,
not
so not all
everybody-
departments were
What-
doing it.
Yeah,
What they're talking about is when they bring in for a step increase.
Mhm.
but not everybody's
You
evaluated.
put documentation
Yeah,
in the
but
file.
that's not,
That's not actually an annual evaluation of their work performance. Are they performing
We
their
need
job
to- we
obligations?
need
I mean,
to
that
start
gets
doing
pretty,
And that's.
it's definitely a human
dependent on the
resource.
department head.
Yeah.
right.
It's, you know, if anything, it's a human resource, probably,
Can we add that to her office, human resource? Go evaluate
Function, you
everybody.
mean?
Yeah.
County clerk,
I'll take
election
care of it.
officials /
I'll take care of it.
HR.
I already have it down here on my notes.
Oh, very good.
See, I'm one step ahead of you.
All right.
it would probably be easy
Right.
if you would all do that at the same, if all the departments would do it at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
To make sure.
Have
everyone's on the same.
evaluation days.
Well, if, say the month,
That's
see,
cool.
what I
But
think.
this is gonna hold the commissioners though.
Let me
too.
run this by you guys. The month of December is our open enrollment for insurance and everything. Can
Yeah.
we have done the month of December?
I think that'd be great to do it at year end.
Okay.
But the thing is that the commissioners will also
They need
have
to
to work
review
on.
them.
Yeah, and they'll have to be probably involved, like with road bridge, the department heads there though too. I mean, the commissioners probably would do that evaluation.
Of the
I mean,
department head.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, like who's gonna do road
Right.
bridge department?
Health,
I mean,
road
so
bridge.
yeah, it will fall back.
Any department heads.
Mhm.
Usually done.
Typically, I mean, unless you're gonna assign, but I think that would fit
Human
me.
resource director.
I'll do them.
Well, she's elected to be the county clerk, I was thinking.
That's what I'm
think that
asking,
was
if we
talked
can
about.
add that to her description.
That's fine.
Well, probably through payroll, it would fall more under,
Yeah.
but I mean, as
Oh,
far as
geez,
her
there
doing
we
the
go. She's
evaluations,
going-
I mean, you know, the department heads, you'll
I
have to
can do
consider
the
how you wanna
evaluation.
handle that.
I think
You're
you
pretty
guys-
busy.
You guys need to do the
You're pretty
department heads.
busy.
Okay, we digress. Let's move on. We'll take care of it.
Health
Alright.
department.
Within the health department, we just recommend, within the accounts receivable listing over there, that a reconciliation actually be completed probably on a monthly basis, just to make sure that we're monitoring that and we're sending uncollectible accounts to the state set-off program. And along those lines, I know that you have made a lot of improvement with the EMS accounts receivable. We'd kind of like to follow that procedure there and have any accounts at the health department that need to be written off just because they've been on the records for 10, 15 years, we just know we're not gonna be able to collect them, that they come through you to, as approval, just so we have an approval process and we're not writing off current notes or current receivable accounts there.
Well, just oversight mechanism, so, you know, somebody over the health department's not writing their friends' accounts off or something like that.
Right.
So it's just more of a transparency issue.
And then, the sheriff's department and the second note in the health department kind of go hand in hand a little bit. All the departments, as they make deposits in the treasurer's office daily, they receive receipts from the treasurer's department. So they know where the money's being reported on the general ledger. They can check those receipts daily. And then at month end, I believe, Lisa also emails, is it email that she emails general ledger reports for the accounts that affect their department so they can see if any additional revenue got misposted to those accounts. We would just like all departments to be involved, and most of them are checking that. Sheriff's Department had a really good improvement on theirs. Health Department, we need to start working on that area, just to review those on the department side too, because it has to be a check and balance between the treasurer's office and those departments. Otherwise, it's not going to ever balance out between their detailed records at the fee office level to what the treasurer's office has reported. So just a double check to have in place. Do you have any questions?
We got that on your list.
I email out the management letter. So
Melissa on the health
everybody
department.
knows what they're
I
doing.
did get doors set up, the set-off programs, I've been working on that with her.
Oh, okay, great.
Just so you know,
Okay,
so I know she's working on that.
Perfect.
Probably the only other items I would say would be, I know we've created a port authority with economic development. I guess if anything ever comes to fruition on that, we'll have to watch. If they get so much revenue coming through there, they would be subject to an audit.
Right.
So we'll have to watch that if anything ever. I know we have one established, but as far as I know, nothing has really happened for now with that.
No.
With that. And then the other thing is that the hospital. The census, the days, I mean, they're pretty low. I mean, Nita's been sending me those monthly financials, so I am concerned about your hospital. So I'm just trying to keep it going. Especially with our valuations going down and the budgetary situation.
What's your advice on next year's budget?
Well, we have some counties that aren't gonna be mowing ditches. They're doing everything they possibly can to save any dollars to avoid any additional costs coming out the door.
$10 million?
I don't know how much it costs you, but I know several counties are looking at just doing things like that, just to avoid labor, you know, gas, equipment usage, things like that. You can use some of your oil and gas depletion trust fund, but we would, you know, like you not to have to use too much of that. But, you know, when you have we are levying, you know, about $500,000 out for the hospital. I mean, those things, we're gonna have to look at how much you're appropriating out for things.
What about some of our other investments and reserves that we have built? I mean, is that something we could rely on, some of that?
Yes, you
I
can.
mean,
But
just
it
for
just, you know, it's
a short period of time to
Short
try to
period
get
of time.
adjusted.
it's a patch. I mean, we're still trying to build up our reserves from the end.
Because I wouldn't think this oil price will stay, I mean,
It's
obviously it's
interesting.
not gonna stay at $38.
No, it just depends what you read. Like, they have some articles in the Wall Street Journal that I've been reading. The first one I read said it's probably a 5-year cycle. And I would probably believe that more than anything right now. You know, OPEC, internationally, OPEC does not have the clout it used to. You have Saudi Arabia saying, hey, we're gonna pump as many gallons of oil that we can out. They don't really care about OPEC. So, you know, the climate has somewhat changed since we've gone through this the last time around. It's just completely different now with the global.
I mean, if they come in next year and say it's $48 instead of $38, I mean, that's gonna
That
help us
helps.
tremendously, but I'm saying for
Based on
this
people's
next,
crew,
for
yeah.
1 year, if we can adjust
We're
you
gonna
know,
have to. We don't have a
not give the
choice.
taxpayer such a huge shock.
Mhm.
I mean, if we can kind of cushion that a little bit and
We're gonna
adjust
have
to where
to.
we think it's gonna be the next year, then,
Mhm.
I mean, we're on an even playing field at that point.
Mhm. The budget's not gonna be a fun process.
No.
I just don't know, I mean, I know we've cut a lot in Road and Bridge already, I just don't know what else we can.
Well, I mean, there's
In past
certain things that we've done, I think our roads in our county are excellent, you know,
Mhm.
compared to other counties.
Mhm.
And I haven't talked to Philip about this, but I don't know if there's like a cycle that we don't overlay roads for one year.
We talked about that, was it 3 years ago?
Yeah, it just
Like,
puts you
correct me if
back
I'm
in
wrong.
Well, I know it puts you back, but I mean,
You
it's,
deal with some potholes, we talked about minimal patching.
I mean, I would probably say half of his budget, I mean, that's over $1 million. You know, and as a taxpayer myself, I think I would be willing to risk a few potholes for 10 mils.
Well, and we've got 200+ miles of all weather roads.
We've talked about not having blacktop, we've talked about getting rid of some.
Oh.
We talked about that 3 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, because we sat here 3 years ago and
We
did
did.
not have, we went over the budget probably 3 or 4 meetings, yeah, we
Yeah.
had. It was,
But you know, this 6-mile grid was set up in 1940 or whatever it was.
yeah, back when the leftover asphalt was
Yeah.
just, nobody else was using it, so that was a great deal, but now it's not the case. We always go to Road and Bridge, what can we cut out of there?
Well, I mean,
I mean, that's really the
they're our
only.
biggest, you know, our biggest
It's your
department,
biggest
so.
department. Goes to what are you willing to live with in the county?
How much are we gonna be short, you think?
I mean, I've just been brainstorming and wanted at least to get your opinion, your guys' opinion on it.
Yeah, 3 years ago, we looked at hard, heavy lift road and bridge, and that was really the only other place we didn't find that we had any. I know that this makes Philip happy.
Well, your oil's down 20 million, gas is down 100,000, real estate is up a little bit, 4 million. But
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to look through. Everybody's in the same boat.
So that,
You know, wondering about how much the state's gonna cut back, you know.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the state as well.
Yeah.
Because
We
it
have
does,
to-
it does fall downhill.
Mhm. And it has in the past too.
It has.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess if they can't decide something by this weekend or something, they're gonna have to look at shut down non-essential employees. So they're trying to figure out what non-essential employees are.
yeah.
I guess they said they were
I
trying to
bet
review,
you
the
they did
departments
that
were
this week.
reviewing that yesterday.
And why would we have them in the first place?
I don't know,
Why
that's
would
the
you
way our,
hire-
that's the way the federal
why would you
government
hire-
is doing it. Non-essential employee.
Why would you hire a non-essential employee?
No, that's kind of a morale tanker, don't you think,
Yeah.
when they know that they're on government furlough? I'm a non-essential employee, I gotta go. No. I think last time when our court system shut down, that was,
Yes.
which some of that might be essential, depending upon what cases there are, but yeah.
Very good.
So I guess assess your road situation and figure out what you're willing to, especially if they raise the state, our sales tax, that'll be interesting. I guess there's gonna have to be, we said it for a long time with the school districts that Brown Act, we were gonna take it back to the local school district. I mean, to keep your local schools open, it was gonna go back to the local taxpayers. And that's what's happening, it's going back to the property owners. We said that for a while now.
Property owners are to the max still.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I mean, I see that from my personal standpoint and just, especially they say, like last night, the price of wheat's probably gonna go down because we have such a, and you have to think of that being in a rural farming community. You say what, so what, we have a surplus of wheat and storage and that, so $4.50 a bushel maybe, if that.
The sunshine. Let's talk about something different.
Well, that's funny, as I was driving over to this black cloud followed me. Let's stop for ourselves.
talking about something different.
Yeah. Oh. I guess that we probably would just entertain if you had a motion to approve, or if you want to do it at this meeting, or,
Approve the audit.
yes.
I move that we approve the audit.
Second. Motion second to approve the 2014 audit. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. We will be getting with you on the budget.
Very good.
Melissa's already started working on it.
Yeah, think positive.
Yes.
So whenever you have rough figures, just send them to me. And work
We're
it out the
ready.
first time around. And I will email you or actually put on the portal an electronic copy of the audit report for you as well, and we'll submit it to the state for you. I will not be able to put it into the portal probably for a couple of weeks. We have that account with our service provider out for service right now, so it'll be probably 2 or 3 weeks.
But
before
you're
I
gonna
get it.
email it to the state.
Yeah, we'll take care of submitting it to their state, and then we'll send you the invoice
They'll give us a letter.
for you to send in the, I think, what is it, $35
You
or
want-
$50?
Awesome, thank you guys.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Have a nice trip.
You see in budget.
Did you see my emails?
I did. Okay. And I
just
haven't
wanted to make
gotten.
sure it wasn't.
I'm so glad, but I have contacted a couple people at the station, and I'm not able to get anything. I wonder, a response back. I mean, I'm just not getting a call.
I was afraid of that.
Okay. So I need to keep pounding. Okay. I've also tried 2 different angles. I mean, there's Chris Harris, who oversees the Community Service Tax Credit Program. And he's a good one, but and he's usually very responsive. I don't know if he's out of the office for some extended time or something, but, and then the one that I had talked with at Department of Revenue, what was his name?
Yeah, from the sounds of it, you might wait till
Tom Brown.
That's the only thing that you know.
Might be a Sunday or
I
there.
tried Chris first before I went to Tom, because it's kind of his program that.
Yeah, so you're not overstepping your bounds.
Yeah.
I understand.
So, okay.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't waiting on me or something, so to make sure I hadn't missed, I've been out of the office on audits.
I don't do.
So I wanted to make sure.
But I mean,
Okay. We want to help you, whatever we can. Okay, thank you.
from the existing grocery store and from the Walmart.
Yeah.
Some variants for brands. But I try to get the same brand whenever possible, like, you know,
Yeah,
these,
Thank you.
salsa or something like that. The difference in price was over $20. I saved $20 if I were to shop exclusively at Walmart rather than buying one from each store. That's frightening. 'Cause this is like, 3 bags from each store, 3 plastic bags.
And I've got everybody else lined up to bring the budget stuff in next week. Well, the hospital has to wait till the 17th,
Okay.
but everybody else should have it.
Very good. Carolyn?
Take the opportunity to introduce our new program director. This is Ashley Bevan. Hi.
Hi.
So Shane Symates, Clayton Grimmett, and Kurt Fairchild. We also have Joe Sheethacker, city or county attorney, Lisa Milton is the county treasurer, and Nikki, the county clerk.
And Carol, our report.
Oh, yes. So similar, she'll be doing a lot of the program carrying out type work with our entrepreneurship programs, the community, and a lot of the marketing. So keeping up our social media, press releases, website, type of stuff. So a lot of help on that. And other duties as fun. Right, but anyway, she started Monday.
Monday.
And, lives in Maxville, so.
Good district.
So you're local then? Always been, or?
I'm from Claflin originally, so I'm used to the small town.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
We both married a local though. I think that was part of what roots us here. I also want to keep an eye on keeping the Port Authority stuff moving, so I thought I might ask you guys about dates. At least this is a good portion of our board to try to figure out what a good time would be, and I'll survey the remainder if we can kind
I'm
of.
pretty good with that. Most of after harvest.
Before harvest? No.
You wanna do it?
I'm cognizant that it would be nice to kind of keep things moving, and I also am cognizant that I screwed up that last time. I didn't have it on my calendar, and I think we, as a group, agreed to it, so we didn't have the meeting, so.
Are you looking at a couple of weeks or 1 week or?
Would sometime next week, and if not, the week following, I guess, maybe. Surely by the 22nd, next
be
week,
right
we're
in
gonna be right in
harvest,
harvest, aren't we? So,
I'd shoot for the week of the 10th,
okay,
that'd be next week.
that would fit well for me too. And we have a freight advisory committee meeting on the 18th. So, I don't know, maybe it's good to meet before then, maybe it's good to debrief afterwards. I can process it either way, I guess, but.
June 10th? You want to go? Well, I was wondering if there is harvest. I mean, no. Okay. So 7?
7 p.m. on the 10th?
Works for me.
Okay. I'll make sure it's not a direct, obvious conflict with the others too. And tell everyone.
Did you go to K-State?
Went to my first time.
Oh.
Yeah, just graduated 17th, so moving right along here with life. Graduating and getting married and
All right. Graduating, married, and a job.
What was your maiden name?
Meyer.
I can kind of remember.
We have
Nice
2
words.
officials here.
Okay.
Coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play volleyball and basketball.
Okay, Wednesday, the 10th of June at 7 p.m. At the office, at the Economic Development Office.
Yeah, I can for sure plan on my office. It's always available. Yes, there's enough room in there. It's posted with the computer.
When's the pictometry tutorial? Today?
That was yesterday.
Yeah, you guys weren't there.
Yeah, I thought about you all day morning.
Thank you for the reminder, I didn't get it.
That nobody paid attention to.
How'd the meeting go?
It was, I thought it was very good. It was very
good.
interesting.
How many was there?
That was yesterday.
That was a full, there were classroom.
Did you run out of computers?
No, I don't think they ran out of computers.
Yeah, it was full.
Yeah.
It was, I was surprised.
Them two had to share, you two had to share a computer.
We did, but I don't see it as something we're gonna be using routinely, maybe every once in a while, or it's kind of good to know what resource is available,
Right.
but,
So it looked pretty good, I mean, the
we
pictures
didn't
look
say
pretty
the
good.
whole time. It's really cool.
I mean, the aerials would be.
So a couple things that might, if we're preparing some type of proposal package for a company and you want to show literally what space is available or something like that, that might be how we use it, but I don't know. I mean, even like looking at when we're wanting to develop a port, looking at what land we might be considered, what people own it, and whether they are, how to approach them, and whether they're interested in selling. I'm still gonna end up going to the appraiser's office to find some of that information, so again, it's nice to know what's available and what I can have some access to, but we're not.
It's not something you use every day.
It's not
That's
something
what
we use
I
all the
thought,
time.
I know maybe occasionally, but.
the appraiser's office will use it.
Well, then, sure.
Yeah, and then there's stuff like owner
Okay.
sheriff should, can see maybe
Road
fire,
bridge.
EMS, bill it, yeah.
Road.
And Dick was worried there was gonna be more than 23 people there. He was out selling computers.
Yeah, it was full. It's very interesting. So kind of busy as you're going
No,
Good.
I sent you a
I know,
reply.
you did reply,
I
so you
replied.
two ignored me.
I'm sorry, but Verizon's
Guess
down.
what?
We use an air card on our computer.
As
The
you.
clock's still going around and the sun come up.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
I was planting milo right across from Carolyn's house.
Oh, yeah.
I
feel
told
very
her,
bad
I
about
told her
that,
where
but
I
I
was
was
living.
running this one.
Oh, you were the store proprietor.
Latest report, I just dropped it, one thing I'm kind of excited about is that economic development got our designation from the U.S. Department of Treasury as a certified development entity, which will qualify us for federal tax credits. Even though we have to go through a very competitive process to get the allocation of tax credits, but kind of think of it as being like, we got the 501c3 designation, which makes you eligible for different charitable contributions and grants. We got the U.S. Treasury designation, so we're the only entity in Kansas west of Topeka that has it, so I also think that it helps distinguish us as a place to locate versus others too. We'll see. I want to do it along with the fork. I mean, to me, they go very much
Yeah.
hand in hand. Just don't know if it's gonna raise the valuation by 2,000.
16.
Very
good.
Anyway, all
Well, it
right.
was nice meeting you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. A lot of changes in the
Oh, I
last few
know,
weeks.
I know. It's like boom, 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 and we're all done, so. We're excited to be here.
That's good.
Yeah. All righty.
All right.
That's what I signed the other day.
I think they graduated on Monday and married on Saturday. It's just started.
Good job.
Where's Derek working?
I don't,
Derek working for his dad or?
I don't know.
Get very.
Anything else? No. We'll adjourn.